When we ask ourselves who is the MVP of the NBA so far and who will be more likely by the end of the season, it's only between Steph and Kevin Durant right now. Others can enter, but right now it's between those two. But to me, the more important question is, who deserves the MVP more between those two players? Let's talk about it. It's no secret that Kevin Durant and Stephen Curry are leading the MVP voting right now. It's no secret that both of them are playing at a very high level. I mean, it's no secret that both of them are at the top of their game and being looked at as the faces of the NBA, at least for this season. I mean, honestly, what Stephen Curry has been doing this season has been great. No diminishing there. The Warriors been playing good. Steph has been, averaging like 27 points a game, shooting a decent percentage, and he's averaging like 5 rebounds, close to 4 or 5 assists a game. And his team is like the best in the NBA, has like the best record in the NBA. So it's no doubt how good he's been and how exciting he's been to watch. Also, breaking the record, all-time 3-pointers made, and, having, the greats as in like Reggie Miller, Ray Allen to compliment him in regards to doing so, especially doing it in New York, Madison Square Garden. That definitely, raises a lot of eyebrows there. And he's been probably the best shooter of all time, for the last couple of years now. So you can't take that from him. On the other hand, you got Kevin Durant, arguably, the best big man in the game, if you ask me. 7-footer in the game, very versatile, can, move like a guard at times, got a handle, shots, he can shoot, spot up from 30, and he's averaging like 29 points a game this year, shooting close to 50%, from the field, and he's averaging like, close to 8 rebounds and, about 5 or 6 assists. I mean, it's unreal what both of them are doing right now. It's unreal how great both players are and how they're playing and what both teams are getting out of those players night after night. And the Nets currently have the number one team in the East, number one seed in the East, and I think that's going to continue going forward, if you ask me. But when you look at these two players, most would say, or I'm not going to say what most would say, I'm going to say this. Who I think will win the MVP by the end of the season, for some reason, I feel like Kevin Durant's going to win it because I feel like he's going to average more points. I feel like he's going to take more shots overall in the season. And, Steph kind of plays a little unselfish at times. Sometimes Steph has moments where he does a lot of passing, and then in the second half, he really starts to look for his shot more just to get his teammates involved. KD, a lot of times when you watch him, he'll do the same thing sometimes, but a lot of times he's just shooting when the game starts. As soon as they tip the ball off, it's like he's shooting from the start to the finish. So with that mentality, I feel like he has a little bit more aggression to his game. And I feel like Stephen Curry plays within the game, lets the game come to him more. So sometime you'll see Steph, make plays for other players rather than himself, because he can get his shot anytime he wants to, and he can shoot from anywhere on the court at any point in time if he wants to as well. So I definitely feel like Kevin Durant might take the MVP this year, not unless somebody else enters the MVP race over those two, which I don't see happening, and overtake it, take the MVP from one of them. But if you ask me, the question about the whole situation is, to me, who deserves the MVP more between these two players? And if you ask me, I would say Stephen Curry. Stephen Curry deserves it more because of the Cinderella season that he's having, and just breaking the all-time record and things like that. And you look at Steph night after night. I mean, he doesn't even have Klay Thompson yet, and they don't even know when Klay Thompson's coming back. And, I said before in my previous videos, I don't know if this team can win a championship without having Klay Thompson there, because I feel like Toscano Andersons and Jordan Pooles and Damian Lees, I feel like those guys will get exposed after a while because they're not Klay Thompson. They don't have that respect from other teams when they step on the floor like Klay Thompson does. They have respect in regards to the player they are, but they don't have respect like Klay Thompson does. So my thing is, if they don't really get the Klay Thompson of old, I'm not sure, if they can win, if Klay Thompson doesn't come back the way he was. But that's another story for another day. But my thing is, which makes my point, because he doesn't have Klay Thompson, because he's playing with those other type guys and nothing but a bunch of role players, and they have the best record in the league, or arguably one of the best records in the league if you want to look at it that way. To me, Steph deserves the MVP more because of what he's doing, how he's helped carrying this team and keeping them afloat and keeping them looking as the best team in the NBA with what he has. He doesn't have another superstar. Kevin Durant does have James Harden. Whether James Harden has been playing up to his potential or not, you can argue that, but at the same time, he's still another dominant superstar in the league. I mean, this guy was the MVP of the league as well, and we saw James Harden get a 50 and 60 point triple double. We've seen James Harden do a lot of wondrous things, a lot of great things, you know what I'm saying? So to have that sidekick there, even though Kevin Durant doesn't have Kyrie along with them, that still makes them a real valuable threat to anybody they play in a 7-game series or anybody they play in the regular season going forward, which is predominantly the reason why they're the number one team in the East. But when you look at Steph and his degree of difficulty that he has to go through just to have this team going and up and ready every night, and have himself up and going and ready every night with people throwing double teams at him more because Klay Thompson's not there, and because Draymond Green can't shoot, and it just makes it harder for Steph to do what he does. But he finds ways to be effective, and he finds ways to just go out there and do what he wants to do, put up his points, shoot how he wants to, and be effective doing it. And the team is winning, and the team is winning with this system that Steve Kerr has put in place. And it just shows how good of a coach Steve Kerr is. So shout out to him. But honestly, when you think about this situation right here, I definitely think that Stephen Curry deserves the MVP more at the end of the season, because Stephen Curry is playing with lesser talent, and actually they're finding ways to win. And I didn't even think they would be this good this season. I mean, you couldn't have told me that you actually thought that the Warriors would be this good of a team coming into this season. Not the number 1 seed, maybe the 5th seed, maybe the 3rd seed or 4th seed. And I'd say most people probably wouldn't have thought 3rd or 4th seed. But at the same time, Stephen Curry has got this team rolling, and he's got this team looking like they're a championship team. Now, as I said before, I don't think they can win the championship unless Klay Thompson is how he was previous years. And if he's going to come back, and play to that level, then they got a chance to win a championship. Without that, I don't think so. But so far during this season and what they've given us during this season so far, I mean, you have to say you're impressed. And honestly, with Steph breaking records and more records that he'll break, I mean, who knows how many 3-pointers he's going to hit this season. He might actually set a record that nobody's ever possibly going to break. Who knows? But it's just been amazing to see what he's been able to do and everything like that. But it's also been amazing to see, Kevin Durant just rise up the way he always has been, and the great player we all know he is. We just expect it of him, but we also expect Stephen Curry to shoot like this and play the way he plays. But we didn't expect the Warriors to be a number 1 seed. I going into this season, if you told me the Nets were going to be the number 1 in the East, I definitely would believe that, because, even without Kyrie, to me, they still got the best team in the East. If you ask me, I mean, I guess they got the best team in the East, I would say, on paper, because when you look at it, Kevin Durant makes up for anybody in the East. There's no player in the East that's better than Kevin Durant. Hell, most people would say there's no player in the NBA better than Kevin Durant. So Kevin Durant makes up for any other team's 1 or 2 superstars. He's just that good, you know what I'm saying? So, and then you add James Harden. Well, that factors out what a lot of other teams can do, and then they have a lot of good role players around them. So I could definitely see them being the number 1 seed in the East, but nobody saw the Warriors being the number 1 in the West and the best record in the NBA. So I think what Steph has done and putting this team on his back with a bunch of role players, and everybody's flourishing and playing at a high level because of what he's doing and because of his amazing season, I definitely think he's more deserving of the NBA Finals MVP. But we'll see how it goes the end of the season. He definitely should win it just because of the degree of difficulty. But at the same time, we'll have to see how it pans out, because like I said, KD is right there. And I mean, hey, either KD is on his heels or KD has took that number 1 spot in regards to being the MVP so far. But we'll have to see how it goes. We'll have to see how it ends up. But it's an amazing run between 2 players. If anybody else enters the race, becoming very, very close, that'd be great. But right now it's between these 2, and I think it's going to stay that way during the season. season, throughout the season, and we'll just have to see who takes the trophy home at the end of the day. But hey, that's my take on the situation. You leave any comments in the comment section. You let me know what you think, as always. And hey, Cali out.